We're going to call the meeting the June 5th special meeting. Madam Clerk, pledge.
Please stand for the pledge.
Sorry, July 5th.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mayor, correction for the record, it's July 5th.
Roll call, Councilman Asbill.
Present.
Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Wheeler.
Present.
Mayor Bodier.
Present.
Police Chief Walker.
Here.
Fire Chief St. Cyr.
Present.
Finance Director Todd Turnion is absent. City Attorney Scott Stansberry. Myself, Carrie Hustis, is present.
Just a point of personal privilege, Madam Clerk, I would like to, if I may, introduce a young gentleman that's been working with me for quite some time here at City Hall. He's an intern and from UNO, and he's been helping me, and I've gotten a lot of comments this week over the boxes that we've done throughout Harahan. His name's Carson Keller. Please come up, Carson. He's been really helping me with a lot. He's actually helping me do the art boxes and organizing, getting those done. He's also been helping me with film Harahan and promotion. You can stand at the podium. Yeah, and film Harahan, and he's also helping me with a new program that we're doing with the sister city partnerships. How you like that's a tongue twister. Well, I just wanted to introduce Carson. He's been a great asset to the city of Harahan, along with Perry from Tulane. And I just want to say thank you very much for all your help. Thank you,
so
Mr.
much, Mayor Bodier. And I want to say that ever since I pursued an internship within City Hall of Harahan, it's been my want and duty to do. Oh, sorry.
You might,
You're good.
okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
I just speak
Okay.
freely.
Yep.
here?
Go ahead.
All right.
Okay.
Ever since I pursued wanting to work with City Hall, I wanted to do the best I could for this city. And with however much people have been saying about how, hey, we want to look around our city and see the beauty of it and see the history that goes into the city, I want to do the best I could with promoting something that could effectively make that change to the city. So this is just the start that we have here. We want to involve the city itself more, as we partnered originally with the charter school and art program Young Audiences of Louisiana to complete these boxes. But we have several more projects that we intend to get coordinated with Harahan Elementary, as well as several other institutions in Harahan. So be prepared, because there's going to be a lot going on across the city. Make sure that everyone is reminded about just how great this city is and just how much we can do with it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He is impressive, and he is a great asset to have on my team. Thank you again, Carson. You're the man. All right, Madam Clerk.
Ordinances for approval. Proposed ordinance 2022-10. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman Chatelain. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1925, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, for the general fund and capital project fund of the city of Harahan, Louisiana, for the fire sales tax revenue.
All right. Anyone wanting to come speak on proposed ordinance number 2022-10, please come forth. Public hearing is now open. No one coming forth. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion.
So thank you, council, on this ordinance. Same ordinance we reviewed last week? Last week at our regular council meeting. We pushed it to tonight, so everyone have a little bit more time to do some research, do some homework on it, talk a little bit more with the chief and myself. I think everyone has had the opportunity to do that. I think everyone has taken the advantage of that opportunity. Coming out of those meetings, we've had a couple of additional amendments, not to the detriment of anyone, just to some miscalculations, whether it be the, basically just due to some miscalculations. And so I have some amendments to propose, and I'd like to take those up now if the council will indulge me for a few minutes.
Appreciate it.
All right, perfect.
Let's go.
All right. First amendment is to line 21. This is, I don't know if I added this last night, so I don't know if you have this in your amendment package that I sent over to you. Take on the pass now. But this is just further, I guess, backup for the ordinance to have. And it's at the end of the sentence to add an institution of a schedule of pay for fire department classifications, Exhibit B. And that's just so that those are made public for the public to see the new pay matrix for the fire department. And it's going to read, after Exhibit A, insert the words, "and institution of a schedule of pay for fire department classifications, Exhibit B." And that's the same pay matrix that you've all reviewed over the past couple of weeks. Next, on line 33, it should read, increased by $224,195. Line 36 should read, increased by $88,305. Line 67 should read, increased by $14,157. Oh, I skipped one, I apologize. Line 60 should read, increased by $8,755. Line 73 should read, decreased by $6,030. Line 76 should read, increased by $72,778. Line 79 should read, increased by $10,145. Line 82 should read, increased by $124. Line 85 should read, increased by $2,338. Line 88 should read, increased by $1,773. And line 91 should read, increased by $88,305. I did that one. Yep.
I don't know if it makes a difference, but all my numbers that you just read were one number off. I guess that'll make a difference.
Oh, it's because on mine I added the,
You already
I
added
have
yours.
the additional
Okay, gotcha.
language on,
All right.
on the whereas paragraph.
Yeah, the line numbers.
Yeah.
Not the dollar numbers.
No, not dollar numbers.
Dollar
The line
numbers
numbers
The
were.
line numbers.
Yeah, the line numbers were
my
one
fault.
off.
I
Yeah, yeah.
apologize.
Because before we add these amendments or move to adopt these amendments, anyone want to discuss these amendments?
Could we, Councilman Asbell, could you go back to the,
Is this the public
suggested-
hearing or council discussion? I apologize.
With
Just
council discussion.
Clarification, okay. Yeah, so just some explanation on them real quick, Ms. Buddy, before you
Go ahead.
get to the question. The first increase is to the general fund. That's the transfer into the general fund from the fire sales tax fund to realize the revenue, basically for the operational side of things as far as salaries and other operational aspects of it. And the second transfer in is to the capital fund for $88,000. That puts $88,000 into the capital fund for this budget year. Obviously, it would be additional dollars next year based on a full year of revenue. Yeah, other than that, and then over salaries, so you see salaries increased by $8,755, and then scheduled overtime. Scheduled overtime is a new line item that will be amending the budget to break up the salaries and scheduled overtime into separate line items so that it's a true accounting of what is the actual pay. On the pay matrix itself, if you do the calculations, you'll see that the, first year salary of a firefighter is better than what it used to be. But if you do the calculation, they're still at $11.45 an hour broken out over a year. So it's not where they should be. It's just closer to where they should be, in my opinion.
And that's base pay, correct?
That's base pay, correct. Other than that, I'll take questions, and I'm sure the chief's happy to take questions as well.
So I want to explain to the public on what went on here. Last meeting, a lot of people were upset that we deferred this, and we called in for a special meeting. There's 12 changes that were made to this ordinance. 12 changes in favor of the fire department. Miscalculations. It was done too fast. We needed time to go through it. I believe everybody up here is more comfortable with what we have here than what we had. Our biggest problem we had up here was the money going into capital projects. We put this raise out there. We explained to people it was going to be for pay raises, capital, to get the fire department on the right track. After all the projections were done, it looked like all of the money was going to pay raises. You had no money for capital. After everything was calculated, it had some stuff that was miscalculated, which is a simple error. It was addressed, and now we have a lot more money going into capital projects. We'd like a lot more, but in the same note, we're trying to move everybody to move forward. And if we'd have put this through last month, 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, we might have never caught this, and it would have worked out in the long run, but we'd have been scratching our heads trying to figure out where this happened. So I don't want anybody to think we delayed this on intentionally. I mean, we didn't have enough time to calculate and figure out where we are. The chief's the one who found the problems. He proposed the budget, miscalculated it, simple error. He fixed it. He brought it to our attention. I believe everyone up here sat down with the chief, went over it. I think everybody's more comfortable with what's going on here, and this is the way we want to move forward with it. If we were to move forward with it last time, it would have been our mistake. Our job as a council is to protect the whole city in a whole. His job as a fire chief is to protect the fire department. He needs to come in here and fight for everything he can for the fire department. We need to make sure we take the cake, split it up, and make sure it's split equally through every department in the city. That's why we up here. That's why we do what we do. Sometimes it takes longer than we want.
Can I elaborate on that?
Yes, sir.
Go a little further, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, a big concern at the last council meeting was, I had the concern for several weeks looking at the budget, was that didn't understand why in 2023, where I started with the budget, we had the capital money that we needed, but not in 2022. Councilman Wheeler brought to my attention that she was concerned about the health insurance rates, how they were the same for each employee.
How they are.
And so at the time that we had put the original budget together, we know that our year splits in the middle for health insurance and that we're going to have increases. So we over budget in the beginning of the year, and it was just across the board. So at this time, we had the actual numbers, and we were able to go in and put the actual numbers in and correct so that each individual that's shown on that spreadsheet that does the salary and benefit calculation, it's exact of what the thing was. Well, to derive at that, I started from scratch rather than using the process that I used the first time to calculate the budget. The first time I split the year in half on 2 of the salary benefit calculation spreadsheets in Excel, but I didn't change the calculation for state supplemental pay. So I was charging supplemental pay to both sides of the payroll expenses on both halves, and that wasn't proper. When I put it all together as 1 year with a base salary, including scheduled overtime, the calculations were then correct. And that's where we recognized about $80,000 or $82,000 that would be able to go towards capital. So by doing that and taking another look at it and doing the one spreadsheet rather than the 2, we recognized the problem. Look, a week and a half ago, I would have stood on those numbers that I gave you till the cows came home because they've never failed me. But I've also never split a year in 2 like that and tried that process. I'll never do that again. I know exactly what happened, and it's been corrected, and
So the simple part is basically for 6 months, we were coming up with $5,600 for capital, and then the next year we were coming up with 180.
Right.
And I'm like, how can it be? We just had to figure out where and why. Not that we want to short anybody, move anything back, but it's got to happen. We got to follow the right procedures and protect the city.
So one of the reasons is we're not using 6 months of revenue from the sales tax take. It's only 5, because we'll only collect 5 that can go towards this year because of the process and how it's collected. So we knew we were short a little bit in that one collection of about 60-something thousand. However, it still didn't add up and didn't make sense, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I went through my numbers with both of those sheets time and time again, and they just looked right to me. When you look at the formulas that were used with that 6,000 of state supplemental pay on both sides was a major error, so.
Speaking of, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Speaking of sales tax collection, I'm happy to report that today I found out both Amazon and Walmart delivery are charging a new sales tax. So if you're getting something delivered to your house in Harahan or delivered from Walmart from the store in Harahan is getting charged at the new sales tax rate. So the collection has started on it. I guess the chief confirmed.
Hey, Dollar General
Dollar
is
General.
collecting, the bowling alley
The
is
bowling alley
collecting.
is, and so-
We're
so
going
that-
around monitoring everywhere we can, make sure that they get it.
You're doing Greg Rupert's job for him?
I started to send someone to collect that 15 cents from Councilman Asbill's Amazon account, see if we can get spotted by the sheriff.
get an
but
advance on the
I don't know if
15
he'd
cents.
appreciate that much.
So, I know there might be other discussion, but I'm gonna move the amendments pending other discussion of the amendments.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to amend proposed ordinance 2022-10
Second.
as read into the record. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Chatelain. We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to come to discuss those amendments? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
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 I move to adopt as
Is that
amended.
5 yeas?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays?
Move to adopt as amended.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor
Second.
by Councilman Asbill.
Is it open for discussion?
Yeah.
Just to add to this, I don't want to say confusion, the difficulty of analyzing this budget is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, not only did the chief project wages, but you also did a budget amendment for all your other line items.
Correct.
So it was, in one sense, an efficient way to do it, but it clouded some of the details. It made this a little bit more difficult to go through and analyze it. If we had done a cleanup budget amendment, and then we'd have done a salary increase amendment separately, for me at
It would have
least,
been
it would have
plain as
been
to what was what.
easier to understand. So it took a little more time to go through it. One concern that I had, and I still have, is that we're projecting sales tax revenue. The economy has changed greatly in the last 3 or 4 months. A lot of our revenue from sales tax comes from disposable income, people spending money in restaurants. And with gas prices up, rents up, mortgage rates up, grocery cost up, it's not a certainty at any level as to how that's going to affect people going to restaurants. And it's those folks that eat in our Harahan restaurants, I believe, that are the main drivers of our Harahan sales tax. And so I'm concerned that the sales tax revenue may not come in as projected. I've had a couple of conversations with the city finance director. He's confident in the numbers that the police chief's using. And those discussions took place in the last 7 to 10 days, a couple of times. I'm still concerned that we may not hit those numbers. And when we do pay raises, gee, how do you take them back? You don't. This could be a difficult situation in 2023 if we don't hit the sales tax numbers. It's all or nothing at this point in time. So I have some reservations about that. Again, I've been assured by the finance director that he's confident the numbers are good. I would prefer, as I talked to the chief about, a little different path. I don't think that's going to happen. So I just wanted to make those concerns known. Thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by,
His motion.
motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to adopt
adjourn.
proposed ordinance number 2022.
He seconded that too.
We have a second by Craig Johnson. We'll now open for public hearing. Anyone who wants to discuss proposed ordinance number 2022-10 as amended? No one coming forth? We'll now
Wait,
close
before we go to
public
the
hearing.
vote, I just want to say something too. It's the same thing I said 2 weeks ago at the last meeting. You know, again, these raises and expenses are all based on people spending money. So I'm just concerned, and look, I told the chief, I hope it generates $1 million for y'all. I just don't want something to suffer if it's not there, and there's a potential that it could. And what's gonna suffer? Is it laying people off or maybe less in capital? So I threw this out there. I don't know if this could work. You see this capital project expense of your 88,305? I know you said that's kind of a cushion, but it's only a cushion. If we put it in capital, we can't use capital funds to balance the budget.
Yeah, but you're the council, you can amend the budget and pull it
No,
back out
I
of.
get that, but I don't think we can take it out of capital
Sure
and
you
put it
can.
in to balance the budget. I thought
If it's designated funds
So-
like that, you should be able to.
You can
So-
do it out of the city's general fund in general.
Yeah.
So you can
don't-
reallocate.
You can,
No,
yes,
I
right.
understand.
Looks bad.
It-
Yeah.
Right,
can
it's like we're
reallocate
taking
it.
capital funds to balance the budget.
But you're not, all right, so you're taking fire sales tax funds.
Right.
To balance the fire budget is what
Right.
you'd be doing.
Right,
You
but
wouldn't
you
be
see-
taking it from the capital fund.
But this 88,305, you're putting it into the capital.
Well, I
Okay.
understand that,
So
but at
let's
the end
say
of
all of a
at
sudden
the
the
end of
sales tax, when we thought it was really a cushion that you and I had talked that day,
I think you can legally, easily turn around and put right back in to the general fund budget.
With council vote.
Yes, it'd take council vote.
The mayor
there would
can't
be
do it
like
without
balance
our
in the
vote.
budget. It's using capital funds to balance the budget.
But it's not really capital funds. It's technically it is.
It's
It's
capital
That's why
like,
I
fund,
wish in a
it's
way
fire.
it could say something different, like I wish in a way it was just worded a little different where it's not like it's
Chief's
restricted.
Tata Fund?
Well, not that either.
With council approval?
Yeah, so yes, maybe that. I just didn't want
You
again
know,
to
we
get
could
itself in a
probably
situation.
research this a little more. This is something that's not clear, fire department capital. There may be another fund we can create that,
Maybe just call it
with,
something
with Todd, the finance director's approval, we may be able to just direct a portion of this into in the future into a fund other than the capital fund. So we could correct that the next council meeting, the next council meeting.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can
we-
most certainly amend this.
Amend this.
Any way you see fit, just as you can the cities. I mean, there have been times where, I mean, the city uses a capital as somewhat of a cushion for their budget. There's been times in the past where they've had to tap into that a little bit. It has
See,
happened.
and I was always under the impression you could use capital
Oh,
funds to balance
absolutely
your
you
budget.
can.
And-
Unless, only thing that you can't use is dedicated revenue for something other than what is dedicated.
And I,
No, I understand that.
I'd like to strongly point out that I feel real strongly as one councilman that the capital fund needs to be funded. If there's shortfalls, I'm not gonna look for it to come out of the capital fund. And that,
Well, it was a concern, Councilman, that if the revenue wasn't there as we projected, that at least that would be there to not bankrupt the city or put the city in a financial burden. I agree with you. We absolutely need to
We
of all people.
We fought
need-
5 years to get a new fire truck.
That's exactly right.
We don't wanna have to do that
We need
again.
to fund capital projects, and I'm confident that we will.
and I'd like to
Of
compliment,
course, I have a little more confidence than what you have, but, you know, that's
I'm just more conservative than you, Chief. But I'd like to compliment the chief. He was probably working on it before I asked him to do it, but I asked him to put together a 25-year projection for capital needs. And it's, it's 25 years. It's not going to be accurate. But the chief put together a very thoughtful proposal on the major equipment needs of the fire department for a 25-year period. And a $250,000 allocation annually. Everything grows with inflation. But that'll put this department on a glide path to being extremely well-equipped and not having to worry about where the equipment is that our firefighters use when they come to protect me at my house.
So
And-
with
and-
that being said, Councilman, I also did include what I felt, just a guesstimate of what inflation would be and added that into the cost of the equipment, knowing that what we paid this year, we won't
Right,
pay again
yeah.
10 years from now.
Yes.
So I did increase those values. Whether that holds to be exactly true or not remains to be seen, but I did have that in thought with putting that project together.
But anyway, again, I want to compliment you on it, Todd. It was extremely professional, well done, well thought out.
Thank you.
get that vote. Get that vote.
You want amended now?
Get that vote.
I just don't want it to get in a position that they can't use this if there is a shortfall, that's all. Like, I wish it was a way it could be maybe called something else where it wasn't, Scott, do you know if money is moved into capital, can we take it out and use it for other expenses that are not capital?
with finance director.
That's not really concerned.
Can you amend this and have it set aside? Put the money in capital next month?
Huh? Whatever y'all want.
Well, I go back
wanna
to
talk
the
more?
old, if we budget it, it can be spent without any additional council approval. I mean, the mayor has that discretion.
Wait, on what?
If we don't budget that money to capital, then it's at the discretion of the mayor to spend it.
Correct. You have to
So,
put,
There's a.
Yeah, you
there's a
have to put it
reason-
somewhere,
There's a
right.
there's a benefit, maybe a negative, but there's a benefit to putting it in capital.
Also, capital
No.
money will roll over
Yes,
as the
capital money
general
rolls
fund
over.
revenue at the end of the year. If you don't spend it, it's gone. It goes
Right.
back in the general
It's in the
fund.
general fund.
Yes, that's what we don't like about that.
No, capital
So-
money for fire would
so-
stay in fire. I mean,
Correct.
To protect that
Every
money
dollar
for
that
us so
stays
that
in
we
fire,
can
no
have
matter what.
future
Yeah.
larger expenses,
Yeah, we
makes
can't-
sense.
Yeah, so
I've been asking for this, Councilman, for like 30 years.
my proposal
28.
is that we, but my proposal is that we pass this as it's been amended, understanding that the finance director has reviewed it as well, and if we need to make a change at a later date, we come back and make a change. Because look, we're gonna have to review ordinance 1939 that the city clerk put up here for you, which was the proposed ordinance 22-9, 2022-9. We're gonna have to amend that at some meeting.
Right.
So, that, I mean, that would be comfortable with that? All right. Move to adopt as amended.
yeah, you
Okay,
got
so
the motion,
now
I
we
got
have
a
a motion
second.
on the floor by Councilman Asbill, a second by
Second.
Councilman Johnston. We'll now for public hearing, anyone to speak on proposed ordinance 2022-10 for the second time. No one coming forth, we'll now close it. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance is adopted.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill
Second?
to adjourn. Wait, I'm sorry.
That's not on the agenda.
Okay. Hey, we
yeah.
gotta address the council first.
We got to address the council.
Address the council.
Okay.
I apologize.
Anyone like to come forth and address the council?
I'd
No.
like to just say thank you all for working with us and understanding the needs and digging in deep enough to find out. We most certainly appreciate it, and thank you for the results tonight.
Okay, no one coming forth,
You're
will
most
now
welcome.
close, address the council. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson to adjourn. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. We are adjourned.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.